All right, hello folks. This video is for you if you missed Thursday, April 15th or Friday, April 16th. And if you did, boy, did you miss a lot and a lot of important stuff that you're gonna need to make sure you get taken care of. So what did we do today? First, we began working on the performance assessment, which means this work is gonna lead to a lot of other things. If you don't get this taken care of, you're gonna screw yourself down the road. Specifically, we wrote the thesis and we began outlining the confirmation. In terms of grades, 3 grades are being recorded for today's lesson. There's a grade for the thesis and a grade for the confirmation outline. I'll explain how those are graded in just a minute. There's also, of course, the daily grade. To get that updated, finish the thesis, finish the confirmation outline, and then send me a remind message asking me to update your daily grade. So let's walk through what we actually did in class. First of all, I reminded everyone that the performance assessment is going to make up most of the grade for this 9 weeks. It is incredibly important. And if you're someone who hasn't been doing the research, that is going to make your life very difficult. But bottom line, that's something you're just going to have to deal with because a lot of the grade, most of the grade for this 9 weeks is coming from the performance assessment. So here's specifically what we're doing. We're writing an extended essay about your approved topic. That is the topic that you got approved in October, that your parents approved, and that you've been researching ever since. You're going to be making an argument that expresses your opinion on the topic, and you're going to support that opinion with evidence from articles that you have read. I also want to remind you that for your senior defense next year, you need to have 3 certified PAs. I very much would love for you to use my PA as one of your defense artifacts, but to do that, you do need to get it certified. To get it certified means that for every single part of it that we do, you're not just good enough to pass, you're good enough to certify. And I'll show you how to tell that here in a few minutes. That does include the topic proposal that we did back in October. So for whatever reason that isn't good enough, you would need to go back and fix that as well if you're trying to get it certified. You can pass without getting it certified. Those are 2 different things. So for most of the parts of the performance assessment, starting today with the outline, there's kind of 3 different grades you can get. You can get good enough to pass. That'll get you a 75. So that'll get you a passing grade for right now, but it means your PA is not getting certified. You can get a good enough to certify. That means, yes, it is good enough to certify, and that will go in as an 85. And of course, if you want 100, there's another level, good enough to be proud, which is basically you've done more than just enough, and each assignment will be clear what you need to do to get to each of these grades. The overall essay is going to look like this. It'll have an opening. There'll be 2 or more paragraphs. There'll be a thesis, there'll be a confirmation, that's 4 or more paragraphs, there'll be a refutation, 2 or more paragraphs, and a closing. For today's lesson, we're only worried about the bold underlined ones, the thesis and the confirmation. So for this lesson, you don't care about the opening. You're not trying to hook the audience, you're not trying to grab their attention, you're not trying to introduce your topic, you don't care about the refutation, you don't care about the closing. Those are things we will do on other days. This is a very long essay, and the way I'm going to get you through that is have you working on small parts. So each day you're working on just this, working on just that, and then we'll put them all together. Today we're going to work on the thesis, which is 1 sentence, and then we're going to start, but not finish, working on the confirmation. The confirmation is the part where you talk about why you are correct. When you go to write a thesis, you have 2 choices. You can make a claim of policy, that's a we should do blah, 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 or a claim of value, something is good, something is bad, something is hurtful. If you need examples, open up the assignment from Tuesday where we talked about these. There are multiple examples in that assignment that you can look at if you need to be reminded of what these type of thesis would look like. So you're either doing a claim of policy or a claim of value. Remember, a thesis also must be opinion. For the confirmation, you're going to organize it in one of 2 ways. Either you're going to use problem solution or a series of reasons and examples, and you'll have your choice there. If your thesis is a claim of policy, you can use either one and it'll work just fine. If your thesis is a claim of value, you kind of need to use a series of examples and reasons. You also need to make sure you're supporting your claims with evidence from different articles. So today, you're writing your thesis and starting the confirmation outline. I'm about to show you some important things about how to do that and about how it's graded. So, over here on Google Classroom, you'll see that at the top, I now have a large performance assessment section. The first one here, thesis and confirmation outline, that is the assignment we did today. The second one, performance assessment topic proposal, that's what you did back in October, where you picked your topic. It's there in case you need to go back and look at it. And I've also moved all the reflective journals here so you can go back and look at the old articles you've read. But today's assignment is thesis and confirmation outline. And when you open it up, it will look like this. There'll be a gray box, it'll turn blue in just a minute, and there'll be some text, but it doesn't really tell you very much. Like there's nothing here to grade yet. There's a reason for that. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see there's two tabs. There's a setup tab and a problem solution tab and a series of reasons and examples tab. Your job is going to be to pick one of those, either problem solution or series of examples and reasons. And whichever one you're doing, you need to move over here. So if you're doing problem solution, please watch this. You need to click on it, and then you need to drag it over like so that it's the first one. If you're doing series of reasons and examples, you need to pick that one, drag it over so it's the first one. Whichever one is the first one is the one I will grade. So if I open it up and setup is the first one, this blue box, there's nothing there for me to grade. You won't get a grade. You must, whichever one you're working on, because you're only doing one of those two, you must move it over to the left. Now, when you're in one of these and you start working on it, there's a lot going on here that I need to explain. The colors are there to help you. So, for instance, any box that's yellow is a box that you're expected to type in. So this one says, what is your topic? You're expected to put your topic there. The next one says, what is your thesis? That's where you're expected to put either a claim of policy or a claim of value about your approved topic that is your opinion. So, like that. If it's yellow, you're expected to type in it. If it's green, like this, you're expected to click the little arrow and pick one of the options. All right. So up here, there's your thesis. You'll get a grade for that thesis. The way the thesis will be graded. If I approve it on time, it's worth a 100. If I approve it late, it's worth a 70. If you change it after I've approved it, it goes down to a 70. Nice and simple. After the thesis, we're worried about your confirmation outline, which is this down here. And you'll notice down here on the left, numbers 1 through 10. Meaning you could plan up to 10 paragraphs. Each of these is one paragraph you're planning. I am not telling you to do 10 paragraphs. I am not telling you that. That is not necessarily there. Right up here where there's the red, you see it says enough to pass, enough to certify, enough to fill pride. This tells you what you need to do. So to get enough to pass, to get just a 75, we need a minimum of 3 paragraphs with a minimum of 2 reasons. To get enough to certify, a minimum of 4 paragraphs with 2 reasons, and you can read that. And if you're doing the problem solution one, it's very similar. To pass, you would need 3 paragraphs, 2 problem, 1 solution, certify, 4 paragraphs, 2 problem, 2 solution, and so forth. So that right there tells you how much you need to do. You don't need to do all 10, but these are minimums. Feel free to do more. Feel free to get into your topic. So each row is 1 paragraph. So 1 across is a paragraph. And to get credit, you need to have filled it in all the way across. So you see in this one here, there's green, yellow, and blue. Do not type in the blue. Type in the yellow, drop down on the green, leave everything else alone. So I would start on the left. I would pick one. So this is going to be about a cause and effect. Now let's do a contrast reason. All right. So when I do this, now you see some example directions pop up. What 2 things are you contrasting? So I'll put moose and elephants. What is the important difference you will highlight? How pretty moose are. Okay. Next box. What type of evidence will you use? Let's say an example I read about. I'm going to fill in what is the evidence, what is the actual evidence I would use. Beautiful horns. Actually, they're not horns, they're antlers. And what article is this evidence coming from? And in this box, you cannot put Gale. I will not accept that. You need to put one of 2 things. Either a link to the article or the title of the articles. In this case, I'll just put the title of the article, Beautiful Moose. So, at this point, I have completed 1 paragraph across. That is it. Again, the minimums are up here. If you're doing problem solution, it's very similar. You're just going across, but you need to go all the way across to finish. So let me show you some examples of people who have worked on this. So this student here has started 10 paragraphs. They have finished none of them. So right now, and they'll need to come back and do some more work, obviously, but right now, this student has credit for 0 paragraphs because none of them had they finished all the way across to the edge. So if you look right up here, none of these things have turned green because none of them are finished. This student is just not done. They're choosing to do all the first part and then do the evidence later, but it's not done until they get the evidence in. If you look at this one here, you'll notice some things have turned green. Minimum number of paragraphs 3 has turned green. Minimum number of reasons 2 and 3 have turned green. So you see they have 3 complete paragraphs. All 3 of them are reasons, yeah? So right now you can see this student has done enough to pass. So this student could get a 75, but they're not, enough to certify has not turned red because they don't have 4 paragraphs. Enough to feel pride is not because they don't have 5. So this here gives you an idea of where you're going. This student here, as you can see, have had everything turn green because they have filled in more than is necessary. So this one is going to go in as a 100. This is on the problem solution. This student is also going to go in as an 100. See, they have everything filled in. They're doing it on the series of reasons and events. So, they have everything filled all the way across. They have no empty boxes. Here's another one that is going to get a 100 because they have everything filled in all the way across. That's what yours should look like when you're done. So this student's going to get probably get a 100. This student's probably going to get a 100. This student's probably going to 75. This student right now isn't going to get anything, but of course they're going to come back and finish it. So when I go to put a grade in, real fast. So if you have enough to pass, like this one does, enough to pass is turned green, and at least 1 article cited. Does he have that? Yep, he's got article cited, so that's going to go in as a 75. If you have enough to certify and at least 2 articles cited, that'll be an 85. If you have the enough to feel pride turned green and you have at least 3 articles cited, that'll go in as a 100. Now, obviously, I have to check those. If you've just typed random nonsense, that's not going to count. The things turning green, the computer has no way of knowing if what you said is smart or not. It's just counting, so I will have to go through and check it. But that's how that is going to end up being graded. So, bottom line. The thesis you need to turn in and get approved. The outline, the confirmation is graded in the way I just showed you. And to get your daily grade up, you need to finish both of those and let me know that. With the thesis, when you want me to grade it, you need to send me a remind message to let me know that. I'm not going to go checking everyone's file randomly. When your outlining the confirmation is ready for me, you need to send me a remind message to let me know that. Of course, there's a lot going on here, and you might need help with some part of that. You send me the remind message. I'll be happy to help you with that. Please reach out, but don't just sit there and do nothing. You do want to do this, and you want to do this quickly, and you want to get caught up because you can't do any of the next parts until this part has been done. So that should be everything you need to know to get caught up. Don't hesitate to talk to me when you have further questions. Go get started.